I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. Xavi Azure joins us. Hi.
Hey, glad to be here.
I'm glad you're here. Please introduce yourself to everybody.
Well, like you just said, I'm Xavi Azure. I think honestly I'm more of a virtual streamer rather than a VTuber per se. Don't really have technically there's lore and all that, but it's basically just a slightly tilted view of what actually is. So it's not really a personality or a character. It's just me.
Yeah, a representation of you on there, and there's a lot of people who are who take advantage of having the avatar and the backgrounds to be more them than they can in real life, because they can kind of let their hair down a little bit. Do you find that true?
Yeah, it definitely feels a lot more at ease when I'm just on camera using this model, actually presenting the face that I would want to present rather than the one I'm stuck with.
Yeah. Well, for me, I mean, I've broken so many cameras over the years. Kodak had me as enemy number one for a long time, but Interpol didn't chase me, so I was pretty happy with that. So why did you get started? What put you into this?
Let's see. I mean, I think honestly, it was actually about 4 or 5 years ago or so is when I started getting interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
It was just here's all these people going out using avatars, and I would, even before the VTubing side of things popped off,
Yeah,
I'd been looking at kind of doing thing. There was a face rig. Remember thing back? It was like 3D avatars used for doing voice chat and streaming and stuff. And it's like a space raccoon or something for the model on it there.
Oh yeah.
It's like that. I mean, I already knew that. It's like, okay, no, I don't want to actually show my face for anything, but that would be nice. So I kind of put it in the back of my mind and then forgot about it for a while. Then VTuber eruption happened there, and it's like, oh, these people are having fun. I remember that I wanted to do something about that before, and looks like a good way. So I think I'm going to want to do that.
Mm-hmm. And
then I grabbed Vroid and spent a couple hours coming up with version 1 of the model.
Yeah.
Showed off to a couple friends, and then basically got swamped with other stuff for 3 years.
And then stupid life got in the way.
Yeah, it's been doing that a whole lot for everyone.
Yeah, just wait till you're my age.
I'm probably closer than you think.
I keep kicking it under the rug, but it keeps biting me when I walk past. But the finally getting that microphone on and going on live, had you had any previous experience entertaining people before?
Not directly. So as far as I could just entertain people in general, is my background actually is in game development.
Ah, okay.
And so basically one of the big things of that basically made a click of, oh yes, I like making people happy, is back with the final project, back when I was in school for it. It's actually what my degree's in.
Mm-hmm.
Is presented it out to the class. Teachers started playing it on my roommate, kind of business partner, best friend at this point here. We've been hanging out together for a long while. Oh. We worked on a game that we're calling Keep Wars. And it's just a little turn-based strategy hybrid type game on it there.
Yeah.
But when we saw people playing it, like just as part of the final on it there, and we put up as kind of a presentation for, hey, this is what some of the like a school wide, like here's all of our best projects thing that they show off to like people that are coming in to visit, looking to enroll, and like, and
Right.
then the higher ups coming by to tours, industry professionals, all that.
Yeah.
All these people just came in, just got completely sucked in, and just loved playing it on there. It got to the point where they actually had to pull it off of the school networks because the other schools across the country that were doing it, their staff had found the game in it, and they were spending all their time playing that instead of actually doing what they're supposed to.
So
So I
so
mean, just the knowledge that I was able to touch that many people and just, and okay, yes, and the fact that it was completely distracting is kind of
yes.
neat too,
Yeah.
but the making them happy about something on it there, that is just, it's a great feeling.
Mm. It's fulfilling, it's uplifting, it's justifying, it's all that stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I'm just wondering whether you created a game or a virus.
Mental virus, maybe.
Yeah, well,
We're still looking at finally taking it to full grade because that was basically all right. That was school final, still rough, still had a nasty memory leak in it on there.
mhm.
It was super unpolished, but still fun.
Yeah.
So it's on our list of things to finally do is go out, actually get it to a publicly releasable level and just get out into the world in general.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
again, other stuff coming in the way, need to actually get the time to work on it because projects are so much easier when you're in college and oh,
Yes.
this is what you can do for it rather than, okay, now I'm having to spend 40 hours a week just to survive and then
Right.
spend the rest of the free time just recovering from that 40.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Exactly. And then the little time you have, you sit there and you're like, I could do it tomorrow.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, and you find something that you need to fix, like, okay, I'll write that down and do it next week, that sort of
Hmm.
thing. But um, I kind of really wish that I would have jumped into that at early because we were one of the first schools in our area back in the early '80s to have
Hmm.
computers. They had computer classes, and I enjoyed it. They were Apple IIs, which
I remember those.
at the time, were pretty good. Um, I went and got myself a Commodore 64
Hmm.
when one of my first paychecks from radio. I went and you can still buy the whole thing on one check, disk drive and all. And I started programming, basic and
Hmm.
nothing at all with graphics because really the Commodore 64 wasn't the best graphic computer to start with. Um, but I had a game when you printed it out on the old dot matrix was an inch thick. Um, I had so many if to if X then Y's, and um, I used probably every variable in existence. And there's only a few many
Hmm.
you can do on the game. And I came up with a pro wrestling game
Oh,
that
nice.
that used wrestlers and had all of the play. It was a text based thing. You just put the two wrestlers in, and it would have a random match.
Hmm.
I added a tag team function that worked. Um, the problem being is that it was all random numbers. And anybody who has worked with computers will know that the old random numbers generators weren't all that random.
Yeah, very streaky.
Yeah. So I would have a match between two people, and even though it was supposedly random, it'd do the exact same thing.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I even had it down to where the timing of the machine was used to time the match. It was it was so much fun to do, and I wish I would have learned into it so I could have fun doing it later on. Um, so I bow to anybody who has the ability to do that. uh, just having that in your background and still have it there working on it, does that affect how you enjoy other games?
Yeah, I mean, I'm from there to game dev, then turned out, well, that was also kind of when a major recession hit, so no one was hiring for game dev, so went into
Right,
game test,
right.
and it did help out there a lot.
Yeah.
And then just then I guess just for the casual enjoyment, it's kind of like with kerning. It's once you've learned how to do it, there's some there's certain things that you just no longer can't see or can't not see.
Right. right. And only thing I can compare it to is when I was listening to somebody else's radio station and there was dead air, and which is for any radio station was the worst thing possible. And I could tell
Mm.
my wife exactly what the announcer was doing. His cart machine is just eating a cart. He's trying to figure out what to do with it. He doesn't have anything to say if he turns on the microphone. He's there by
Mm.
himself. And then he should be ready about now. And then the next thing would play. And unless you have that experience, you don't have that ability to just know and know when something messes up. Um, does it affect you? I mean, you could be playing a game and something just isn't up to your quality standards or what you do. Will you stop playing the game or will you keep playing it?
As far as quality standards go, it's honestly one of the only things that will make me stop playing the game is if it just hard crashes and wipes out like at least a half hour of progress. That will just send me right off from it. But as far as just the game itself being janky on there, I mean, yeah, I'll call it out. I'll complain more so when if I'm streaming it at the same time.
Yeah.
But even just when it's by myself, it's like grumble, grumble. But and I'll still, unless it is just like to the point of being physically painful, I'll I'll try and just stick through with it on there. Let's give it a fair shot because I mean, stuff happens. You're rushed.
Yeah.
And honestly, it kind of adds an interesting meta level to just gaming in general there, where it's okay, you're not just taking the game as it is, you're also trying to predict how the developers would have done it and then
Yeah.
try and see if you can think around them as well to see if, all right, maybe I can shortcut if I do this. Oh, no, they thought about that. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And then finally go the way they're intending.
Yeah. But you look at something like that and you're like, well, what were they wanting to do and how did they do it wrong?
Hmm.
What would I have done that would have fixed this particular problem? Um, and while most people who don't have that background will be just like, what? throw throw
Yeah.
something at the screen, or fall through the earth and never come back, that type of thing. Um,
Hmm.
it that type of thing doesn't necessarily mean that you're not enjoying the game, right?
Yeah, it's a different way of enjoying it on there. You
Yeah,
can enjoy the process that went into it as well as the final result.
yeah, yeah. And sometimes, especially if you look at a game with really good art and not a particularly good storyline, you can still appreciate the art and
Hmm.
go through it. But if you got a game that doesn't have the super modern art style, but goes along with the gameplay, um, it can still be a masterpiece. I mean, really. Uh,
But yeah, I mean, honestly, that's a thing my roommate and I will just talk on for long periods of time. There is just the kind of the more modern, like ultra realistic style. It's a dead end as far as gaming goes
mm,
because it basically locks in is okay, yeah, it's really, really crisp, it's really advanced, but it's only as advanced as it is at that moment.
right.
2 years from then, your game's gonna look dated and terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
You go with a stylized look, you make it fit whatever the theme is, and you just make it coherent, and it can be 10 years down the line and it'll still look as good.
Right.
Yeah, it's not going to be, oh, you can count the pores on their forehead. But honestly, I don't think most people actually care about that. A big part of that push and Bracer is just it's honestly, I think it's being pushed from the hardware side of the no, no, you need to have this latest, most expensive hardware and
Yeah.
turn your computer into a space heater
Yes.
to actually have fun with game. And it's like, no, I honestly one of the games that I've been intending to get back into lately has been just old DOS era XCOM
Oh yeah.
because with the Open XCOM project on it, there are some giant mods, and honestly, X Pirates is one of the most entertaining things I've played. It's extremely difficult,
Yeah.
but it's still fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. People can discount older games all they want, but that doesn't make them easy.
Hmm.
Then there's challenges in old NES games that people aren't going to come up with, and certainly,
I mean,
it
Nintendo hard is a saying for a reason.
yeah, absolutely. There's some people who aren't going to be able to get through certain Atari 2600 games,
Hmm.
sometimes because the game wasn't that good to start with. but it's all the enjoyment that you get out of it personally. One of the games that I go back to, and I end up slowing the computer down so much because otherwise it won't play correctly, is
Hmm.
the Might and Magic series. Um, that came out, 20 years ago now, maybe more.
Yeah.
Probably more, actually, a lot
Mm.
more. Um, but and the graphics aren't great, especially now. But they didn't. I'm
Hmm.
not doing it for the graphics. I'm doing it because I know it, and it's a comfort to me, and I can go back and play it and try something a different way I haven't done before, and go through it again and cheat on my way through if I want to. Um,
Yeah,
it,
still got a thing of Master of Ryan 2 tucked away somewhere.
yeah.
I mean, the entire thing's like 20 meg right now, less probably.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a
And yeah, just fire up DOSBox, get it going, and
yeah, yeah. There's one game that was on DOS. Well, it was not on DOS. It was on the computer Commodore 64.
mhm.
Um, that I thought would have been really great in on an Xbox or something. It was a game called Road War 2000,
Hmm.
and it was a post-apocalyptic turn-based game where you try to find. Uh, think of think of um, oh gosh, I had to think of it, and I forget the game. It's post-apocalyptic. You're trying to find. You're going from town to town. You pick up gang members. You
Mhm.
train them. You have to get vehicles and supplies, and then you face other gangs across the country while you're trying to solve something. Um,
Mhm.
it's very you get really into it, but it's actually on the Internet Archive, or was. I don't know if it still is. But if you play it, it's so fast you can't enjoy it. It's boom, boom,
Yeah,
boom, boom,
back
boom,
when
boom, boom, boom,
everything
boom.
was
Yeah.
tied to the actual chip speed rather than clock speed on it
Oh
there.
yeah, yeah. It's just like, okay, I would try to. I like to move once, and then you do, and the other thing moves, and you're dead.
Mhm.
It's it's very tough to do in some sort of sense. Maybe somebody will take a game like that and update it for the it says World War
Mhm.
2000. That'll tell you that we weren't at 2000 yet when it came out.
Yeah. Yeah, one of those big years where it's like, oh, everything's going to be shiny and fancy and futuristic, and no, it's
Yes.
unfortunately turned out to be more of the same.
Yeah. I like the TV series Space 1999. I can see the moon still out there, and we're past 1999 at this point.
Yeah, that was a pretty good
Liars.
series on there.
It
I
was it was fun.
must somewhat remember that still.
It was when they showed it here on Friday nights at starting at 10 o'clock. They had that on, and followed by original Star Trek episodes.
Mm.
So younger Eric was glued to the television with whatever snack he could find from the kitchen and watching that particular show that night. And and the one commercial is still running through his head. Dawson's Furniture. I
Mm.
can almost tell you the exact thing at this point. For you, what are you getting right now out of streaming? What is the appeal to you of being on online like that?
Well, I mean, when I can actually manage to do it, because things have been rough the last couple of months on it here, it's
Hmm.
just I don't know, it's something, it's just being able to be out there, even if there's like no one in chat or like just the bot or just a friend who's just idling in there, doesn't even talking at the moment.
Hmm.
It's just being out there, being able to actually be expressive, because just over in the physical side of things, I'm a very quiet person. I just everything stays inside.
Hmm.
And then that's the way to just it's just being able to talk, to just be open, even if it's a very limited context still,
Yeah.
but it's still just being able to go out and say I exist
Yeah.
effectively is kind of where it is for me.
Yeah.
It confuses a couple of my other friends who are trying to do streaming on there, where it's the, oh well, if no one's watching, I can't have any fun with it.
Oh,
I can't do it without an audience to interact with, and I'm and I can get where they're coming from on it,
yeah.
but I mean, from everything I've seen from others, like all the advice that I go around looking up when you go to research it, it's the, if you have to have someone there, then that's actually going to wind up holding you back on it. It's, you
Mhm.
have to be able, even if you're playing to a completely empty room, you have to just be able to keep going without that. And then, yeah, when you get people in, then incorporate them. That
Yeah.
makes it even better.
Yeah.
But you have to be able to bring up to a baseline yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. You play to five people as much as you play to 5,000. Um,
Well, 5,000, I'd probably just vanish off from the internet. Just anytime something gets too big, it's just, okay, there's the social anxiety, I'm gone.
yeah. Yeah.
But I mean,
That would trigger in
I
just a
think
little
like,
bit.
I mean, I'm sure like eventually, if like somehow someday I manage to get up that far, like going into it gradually, I'd probably be able to adapt to it.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think like 10, 20 would probably be like a comfortable limit for me.
Yeah. 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 Well, and no one gets that overnight unless they do something really wrong.
Mm,
I would rather avoid that as much as possible. Been on that side. It's not fun.
mm.
In the radio business, it's not the most fun thing in the world. Um, but with this, you get to present your own narrative of who you are.
Mhm.
I've compared it to going from high school to college, where you're the same person, but they don't remember that you split your pants in fourth grade, and then remind you of that every 5 seconds when you try to do something in front of people. You're setting your own background, your own image of what people see of you, and they're playing by your rules for the most part.
Mm.
Do you feel that when you're going on?
Uh, and like I said, I don't really bring in much in the way of lore or actual RP or anything like that when I head up. It's just, here I am. Here's just the expression of things on it. And honestly, with kind of the way I come at identity to begin with on it, it's less of I'm sharing a story about like who I'm coming to you as, and it's just, no, this is at the actual me. Like there's the physical me over on the other side of the keyboard, but
Mhm.
that's not so much who I am on things. That's just what I'm driving. That's what I'm stuck with on it here. But
Yeah,
going out on the stream, having the model up, that yeah, it's simple, but this is my view of myself.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just that's what I'm getting. You get to represent you as you want to. You make the choices
Hmm.
as to the model, as what you want to look like. If you want to be a talking hamster with a toaster head, you can do that if you want.
Yeah.
I didn't copyright that. If you want to do it, you certainly can. I'm not gonna. I'm probably not a good candidate for this type of thing. Now talking to people I can do, um, but doing that and maintaining a model or a PNG or anything like that is certainly a different story. Uh, did you find that awkward when you first came on, that you had to, instead of seeing yourself or a picture of you, you had the avatar on the screen while you were doing your thing?
No, I mean, I just to be out and blunt about it on there, I guess I have it labeled on the channel even. It's, I'm trans. It's my, again, like I was saying, the biological face is not
Right.
my proper face on it there. So
Yeah.
it's like So like when I first got the camera going, got the model going, got it all hooked up so I could actually just see myself on screen. And same thing's actually happened with a couple of friends of mine. Is just look at that and oh yeah, no, this actually feels right.
Wow.
This is what it's supposed to be like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's no oddness of oh, there's this weird person on the screen mimicking everything I'm doing. It's like no, that is me on the screen.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
I'm
good.
actually seeing what's proper rather than what I'm stuck with.
It's kind of the opposite of imposter syndrome.
hmm It's like no, everything is finally clicking. This is how it's supposed to be.
And that actually, I imagine that actually adds to the enjoyment of
hmm
doing that. Maybe a comfort level too. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean it's being able to. Yeah, I mean that's probably honestly the easiest way to say it is comfort level out there.
Yeah.
It's just there's no extra effort behind it. There's no having to look past. There's I'm, I've seen another friend who's does hybrid streams where sometimes they're going through, they're doing with a model they've set up. Other times they're doing like cosplay for like an RP thing on it there,
Oh
and
yeah.
I they've done their makeup for the RP stuff over just in a Discord chat before, and it's like that's a good half hour to an hour of prep time ahead of things there, where it's like I can definitely appreciate the artistry involved with it, but that is just so much more.
Yeah, it is.
And then,
And believe me, there is no amount of makeup that can make this mug look good at
hmm,
this point, and or make it presentable for me to be comfortable with is the
hmm,
thing. It doesn't really have to be look good, just presentable as far as I'm concerned. Um,
hmm,
that makes a difference. And I know a lot of people who are in the television industry, and you'd be surprised what they look at off camera. Um,
hmm,
one fellow I used to watch all the time. He looked like a big, the jacket. He had the big shoulders on the screen and a nice low voice as he was doing the
hmm,
news at 6 o'clock. And
hmm.
I got a chance to meet him, and he's kind of a scrawny guy about my height. I worked with him later, and I would kid him about it all the time. But they when it's a live camera, it's not necessarily that person either. It's a representative of how they would ideally want to show you.
hmm
Here, you have that avatar there, and you could show up on the worst day of your life, and still go on there and be who you want to be, um,
hmm
and put what you want into it. You can come on and be morose, or you can come on and be joyful, and hopefully you've got somebody to take on the ride with you.
hmm
It's and I could see a lot more people getting involved in it here soon. Um, do you like what type of games do you like to stream?
Okay, so games to stream versus games to play. So that's a kind of a crucial difference out there because there's some games that are great for playing, but
Hmm.
there's not much that's actually happening. Like there's not a whole lot to comment on things about it.
Hmm.
So for the streaming side, it definitely feels like kind of having a constant flow of things happening on there
Hmm.
is somewhat more important. Like, I mean, I'm getting to, I've got like 3, 4 full playthroughs on hold I need to get back into when I finally get streaming back again on it. But like the latest one that I did was Mortuary Assistant. So that
Yes.
one, yeah, there's a constant routine going through things, but the game keeps throwing things at you to basically shake up that routine and try to
Right.
make you slip.
Yeah.
So that's always a good amount of things that you can keep reacting to. So
Yeah.
that's honestly, I think it's a good game for it, even though I mean inherently it's an 18 plus game considering the fault themes that it's dealing with on there, so that'll limit the audience.
Right.
But like kind of the same sort of the pacing for it is good on there.
Hmm.
Whereas some of the other games that I wind up playing a lot are I mean survival crafts or something that I always go back to.
Hmm.
But unless you like kind of on the baseline for a bunch of things, like for space engineers. I was going to be doing a thing on that, and a lot of it is just the cycle of okay, go out, harvest stuff, come back, refine it, build some things, go out, repeat on it there.
Right.
So especially like in the early stages, it's really, really slow. So unless you can keep up a good pattern of just other stuff to talk about, which is not one of my strengths,
Yeah.
or you've got a lot of audience to go back and forth with and talk about things with them, then I'm like you said earlier, it's going to wind up with a whole lot of dead air. And for something that's being presented, that's generally not a great thing.
Right. Yeah, it's a terrible, horrible thing, actually.
Hmm.
Speaking from 35 years of radio experience, it sends chills down my spine when I hear something like that. Um, it, but that's a very good explanation of finding the right game that is adaptable to this. I mean, there are some games that are adaptable, but you really have to work to do it. You have to fill in the blanks yourself. Um, but other games are kind of built that way. I mean, you could play. Obviously, folks can do Minecraft and do things on it, or Stardew Valley or something like that, or Fallout. Today we're on Fallout. We're just going to run around and shoot death claws. Okay, let's do that. And you've got a map to run around and do that. Um, some games you're kind of forced down the funnel to a certain ending, no matter what you're doing. Would you rather have a game that has the one ending that is pushing you to, or a game that has multiple endings?
Honestly, I don't. I tend towards games that really don't have endings at all on it. There, I tend to stick. I I mean, I'll play just about anything really, but I lean more towards open world type sandboxes where it's I don't really want to be pushed in any given direction and just okay, give me a world, give me tools to explore it, manipulate it, and then just let me go do whatever I feel like doing on it there. I know for a lot of people, they prefer a much more guided experience, but honestly, the more player freedom is available, the better, in my opinion. But on the other hand, there's also being able to have a story and present it and having a concrete thing that does make for a good experience. It's just a lot more finite than what I kind of favor overall. So I'd say, okay, you've done it, and then now what? Now you have to say goodbye to that game because it's over with. I mean, you might come back years and years later, but you're never be experiencing it again for the first time, so it's never quite going to hit the same.
Right.
Some games can do that with like loads of hidden, like just hidden symbolism and just connections that you don't make the first time around, so you need to play it again to be able to see, oh, here's what this actually meant on it there when you have the context from later on.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is a good thing on it. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just it's not quite to my preference as much.
Yeah. And the replayability of a game, especially one that's really expensive, is something I think people are going to be looking more and more at. Nintendo. The really, if you got a game that has a beginning, middle, end, no matter how good that game is, and like you said, there's no replayability to it. You don't. You've enjoyed yourself. You enjoyed the game, but now it's going to sit on your shelf, and you're not ever going to pick it up again, more than likely, which is kind of sad. But if you have a game that has multiple pathways, multiple options, you'll pay it a few more times just to get those extra things. Maybe, or at least you have a chance of doing it. Anything that's roguelike that has a little where you play a game where you have a chance of having something different every time, is a replayability thing. I've got a simple game called that I've actually got on my phone now that wasn't on the computer. Luck Be a Landlord. It's a game where you have a slot machine in your apartment, and you You have to win enough to pay the landlord. But every time you spin it, you get a chance to add something to it, and it
Hmm.
has different effects and stuff. Simple. I will play it in pauses in conversation at in restaurants.
Hmm.
It's that addictive, and playing it over and over again is that sort of thing. You still got to catch people first. Um, you can have a song in music that's 2.5 minutes long that everybody likes, but because it's got a catch to it, a little hook. You got to have a hook,
Hmm.
um,
Yeah.
and people like it. But again, will you listen to that song again after you buy the 45? Oh, 45. Nobody buys 45s, Eric. Um, After you buy it online, and will you play that game again after you've gone through it one time?
I mean, songs. And for me, music's all not so much a thing that I focus on in the moment.
Hmm.
It's always accompanying something else that I'm doing.
Hmm.
Like I almost constantly have to have some sort of background music going on there.
Right.
So in that case, yeah, I'll listen to the same song like dozens of times throughout a day if it's like a brand new one that I like, and then toss it into the random mix to get brought up later on. Later on, once I can't listen to it for like the 50th time,
Right. Right.
then it's okay. It gets more variety in on there. And then in that case, it's I haven't heard this in a while. I
Yeah.
remember this was a good one, then I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Whereas with the game, because it's a lot more of an active experience on there, it's okay, I'm putting forward this effort to do something that I've already done before. It's the lack of novelty
Hmm.
on that front versus what I'm doing to get it
Yeah.
that kind of degrades from it on there.
Yeah. Sure.
But on the other hand, I've got stories like I read web fiction all the time on it.
Yeah.
Honestly, sometimes when I should be working instead, but as long as I don't get caught, it's fine.
Yes.
But like I've got stories that I'll read them on a cycle on there while I'm waiting for new chapters to come out, and I'll read them a good dozen times or so. I think part of that is because with the story, there's a lot more in the way of fine detail that's hard to remember. The ones that you do remember, you can kind of anticipate coming up on it there.
Hmm.
But it's also because it's not kind of a waste of action. I
Right.
think it is in my case there, where it's like the same reason like why I'll drop a game if it hard crashes on me, I lose so much progress, is repeating the exact same things to get the thing that I've already done.
Right.
That doesn't really work for me on there. But it's
Yeah.
like with roguelites, that's something I'll play a lot of as well, is okay, I do similar actions and get a completely different result.
Right. Right. Yeah. And instead of if you go to a certain thing and you have a random item, you could get the really good item that makes it easy. You get the really bad item that makes it really tough, or something
Hmm.
that you have to, something that doesn't do anything. It's all of that random stuff that some might say is a kind of a cheap programming trick, but it works. So use it, and that adds a little extra to what you're trying to do. Um, for you, being a game developer,
Hmm.
indie games for you or corporate games?
Definite. I mean, even without the game developer side, definitely the indie games on it. There, I. It's gonna sound like a lot of the regular talking points on
Yeah.
it that have been going around, but
Well,
honestly,
yeah.
a lot like the corporate games are. They seem to be focused more on the look how much money we spent on this that we're going to recoup by charging you now $100 for a basic thing,
Hmm.
and they're overpriced. They put in things that aren't necessary, basically just to try and flex and show off.
Hmm.
And honestly, I'm kind of the view that anytime, anytime a game studio gets caught up with public funding, like it gets bought up by a corporation, then that corporation has shareholders.
Right.
It's quality. Like like it's the very next game that happens afterwards. That one might be good because they've gotten a good cash infusion on it there.
Mhm.
They've got a lot more resources than they can. It opens up what they can do. So I can see why they would do it.
Right.
But the longer it goes on, the more the focus is less about making good games and more about turning a profit,
Right.
the worse things get. Because when you're dealing with investors on it there, especially with regards to something that is creatively based, they are extremely risk adverse, and you can't make good anything good art wise
Right.
if you aren't willing to take a risk on it.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you always do what's safe, it's going to be the exact same thing that you've seen a dozen times. And yeah, you'll get people who want more of the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But if you can't find some way to make it interesting each time on it there, and even that gets drained away when you're dealing with shareholders, it's going to send it down the tube, and everyone's
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not going to leave good memories on it there. It's honestly a case of it'd be better to just like end something before it becomes a franchise.
Right.
That way you don't go out on a low note. You go out like it ends where everyone actually still remembers it being good.
Right.
Is kind of the best sort of legacy you can do artistically on it there, rather than just dragging it on and on until people just forget that it ever existed,
Yeah.
even though you're still making new stuff because it's just all faded into the background.
Right. I mentioned the Might and Magic series before. I enjoyed it right up to Might and Magic 8. When Might and Magic 9 came out, it was an absolute and total wreck. Um,
Mm.
changed the game style a little bit, where it was almost unplayable. Um, the background lore was completely gone because it would go from game to game to game to game. It was an absolute piece of garbage. And
Mm.
I don't care who it come from and what they tried to do with it. If you just had to stand on its own, I wouldn't play it. It was
Hmm.
it was and it just and it killed the series dead. Um, nothing came up after that for that particular series. Uh, and sometimes you do have too many cooks in the broth one way or another. But
Hmm.
you people got to remember when you give a corporation like that, there's a lot of middle management that want to put their stamp on things. There's a lot of consultants that come in. You want to make a radio guy yell, mention the word consultant. Um, yeah, there's an old joke. There's an old joke that if doctors were radio consultants also, someone comes in for a flu, they tell you to change your name and everything will be fine. Yeah, that's what they like to do, the radio consultants. Just change the call sign, everything will be perfect. Okay, we'll get rid of that legacy call sign and do whatever you want. Um, and they're looking for bottom line. People like Joe the cowboy, make it again with a different color, and then the color that the research shows, uh, because that's what sold last time. As you said, there's not a lot of innovation to what was going to sell next, and draws them out. But independent makers can put their heart and soul into it, and they don't have anybody to answer to but themselves.
Yeah, and it doesn't. I mean, it's far from guaranteeing success on it because a lot of it comes down to you have to be visible enough.
Hmm.
Because I mean, it's. I'm not sure there ever really truly was a time where it's the okay, just make something good and then you'll get your success and it'll be all worth it in the end there. But it's the honestly like with this, like with all art, it's you have to enjoy the act of creation
Hmm.
as a core of it. Because honestly, again, like with a lot of other art, if you're going in it for the money, you're going to wind up being disappointed,
Right.
especially because it takes time to get that money, to get that particular measure of success on it there.
Yep.
And then if that's all you keep chasing, that you'll lose track of the things that helped you get it in the first place if you ever did.
Right. Right. And if you take the money up front and they give you a deadline, now there's a whole another different story.
Hmm.
You now have to come up with something that's going to work in a month, and that's a hard deadline, and they've already given you the money. you better do it. So
Hmm.
whatever you have there, you just gather up and toss at them and hope that they enjoy it. But um, yeah, I think that you're going to see more folks come up like the Undertale games. We mentioned Stardew Valley before many times, and
Hmm.
independent games that people can tell are done with a heart and with some um, innovation uh,
Hmm.
as they do it, and maybe we'll see corporations go more toward AI to do these things. And
Yeah, I mean, as long as they label it so I can just hit the ignore on the list on there so I never have to see it again, then that's go right ahead on it. Produce the, I mean, honestly, you can't call it AI. It's because it's just a, yeah,
it's just
that's an
A.
entire stream of things.
Yes, it's an
I mean,
A, artificial. Um, and they'll come up with their own artificial VTubers to play it and push it probably. Oh no, did I just say the future? I might have. Um,
I mean, technically, that's I, depending on how you look at it. Like Vidal and Neuro are kind of, in that case, Neuro is more like a project, ongoing project, rather than kind of a completed thing on it there. So that's
right.
not as bad. But then if a like a big like say, well, don't actually want to name any names because a lot of them tend to get pretty litigious about things. But
Right.
if if one of the big agencies goes out, then like just licenses the software from them on there, and then
Mhm.
oh, there's a new generation, and none of them actually have people behind the models on it. There, they'll, I mean, there will be a chunk of people that want to go in for it on there because it's just the okay, it's just content is content. They don't
Right.
care,
Right.
but it's never going to actually be like a proper community or a fan base with it because if there's
Yeah.
no person in there to act as kind of the nucleus, then there's no reason to stick around. There's no
Yeah.
sort of connections that'll be made.
Yeah. Now, the one thing that hopefully it would do is draw the bots. So you'd have an AI with a lot of bots. Maybe they will leave everybody else alone. Force them to have their own society away from everyone else.
Hmm.
it'll it'll sort them out a little bit. I got to tell you, Xavi, it's been a lot of fun talking with you, and I appreciate you spending the time with me. Got to know you a lot more, and got to talk a lot about putting games together and what you're doing, which is a different sort of VTubing, I guess. Um, and thanks for explaining that out to us. And again, another very unique person in this field and enjoying themselves and getting a chance to do what you want. I'm glad you're able to do that.
Yeah, I am too. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.